Diego, which emerging climate technologies aren't receiving enough attention?
Well, in my perspective, a lot of the emerging technologies that got the attention in the last years are related to low investment assets, so digital stuff, AI and things like that. But there are a lot of technologies that could actually bring implementation up to speed in terms of climate change and CO2 reductions. And those are, by example, direct air capture, or some of the sequestration technologies that are not directly putting the CO2 underground, but more into the ocean. And then some technologies where you can use CO2 to produce materials, so carbon capture utilization. On top of that, things related to energy, by example, hydrogen and nuclear energy, haven't had the attention they deserve. So I think those five are the most interesting in my perspective.
And there's a lot of talk here about finance, but what about the science problem? What's keeping impact tech out of reach?
I think there are mainly three problems. One is a strategic one, the second is tactic, and then the third one is technical. The strategic one is related to the partnerships. I think when you think about the process science need to get deployed, it's first discovery, then development, and then deployment. In between those three blocks, you require partnerships, and scientists are not always approaching the right people, but specifically they are not using the right communication style. I think scientists require to get closer to the financial people, to the commercial people, to the marketing people, to be able to communicate properly what they want to say. That's from a strategic perspective. And communication-wise, it's very linked to it. The style and the words used to convey a message to the market, that is the one who at the end is going to decide what to buy, is not getting to the mass. The communication about climate change, about the key metrics, is not always clear. So when changing the wording and making the mass understand what is on stake, might change also the decision on what to buy and consequently what to produce. And finally, I think the materials developed over the last years are not yet at the scale they need to be deployed. And that means putting a lot of attention in, by example, materials to absorb CO2, or new materials to reduce the energy consumption in the processes and to make them with a higher yield. So a lot of attention needs to go towards synthetic biology, material science, and fermentation processes. So I think the scientists need to focus on those three things.
Well, Diego, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.